Hello, my name is Barry Graham and I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you about the TM Forum's work on a digital platform reference architecture. We're all aware of the rise of businesses like Amazon and Airbnb in recent years. These businesses are known as platform businesses. All or part of their business is to create value by facilitating transactions between partners. Right now, there's an intense interest in these business models and how they can be adopted by today's communication service providers. And for the last few months, a group of TM Forum members have been collaborating in this area, as explained here by Laurent Leboucher of Orange, talking after a workshop at Team Action Week in July 2016.
And the platform concept is taken from a concept which already exists in different industries and which is very well described in a book by MIT people, which is called the Platform Revolution. And we took the concept and started to articulate the vision behind, which is really an economic vision, which describes how some business model, which are called pipelines, which are very traditional business models, could be disaggregated and changed into something which is called a platform. And we had this very interactive session about how it applies to us, we as the communication industry, and how we should behave in order to transform ourselves into platform incubators, platform curators.
A platform business model needs an enabling technology platform to underpin it, exposing common services in an easy to integrate manner. Often this approach is taken in the first instance for internal rationalisation, but done correctly, it prepares the business to be able to work easily with external partners. George Glass from BT explains how this was worked in their case.
It's George from BT, and we had picked up the whole concept of platforms about 8 to 10 years ago, and we had adopted it particularly with a focus on internal transformation, rationalising our IT estate and simplifying the way that we delivered services internally. And as we did that, we sort of almost stumbled upon this sort of platform-based model, because what we realised was the services that we were building internally, we could actually expose to our customers so that they could then perform self-service. And that meant we had to have a very defined and clear set of APIs so that, for example, the CRM service functions or the billing functions that I had in my CRM system also could be exposed through a portal to my customers. But that then led us also to thinking, if I can work like this with my customers and offer self-service to them, surely then I can collaborate with my partners, my suppliers, and actually bring them into my ecosystem and allow them to either consume services that I've built or allow me to consume services that they've built. And that started to evolve a lot of the platform thinking that we had adopted within BT.
A key element of the platform business model is the network effect, getting as many partners as possible to adopt your platform. For global players such as Amazon and Google, their scale enables them to create global de facto standards on their own. However, communication service providers are more fragmented, and to make them attractive to the largest number of potential partners, they need to collaborate to create global standards that allow partners to integrate with multiple service providers in a common way. Lester Thomas of Vodafone explains the approach they've been taking across the Vodafone group.
In Vodafone, we've adopted this platform-based approach. It's also very clearly linked into the TM Forum Open API initiative. So what we're defining is basically to say that you have platforms that are black boxes. So inside the platforms, you can let operators and different vendors really innovate in delivering their service using the latest DevOps or agile processes. But to the outside world, we want to make these platforms interoperable. So we want to adopt these open APIs so that I can create a platform that will work seamlessly with other platforms from other companies around the world. Yeah. And also we're introducing this concept of what do we as a forum standardize? So we want to standardize the APIs. We've actually decided we don't want to standardize the platforms themselves, because the platforms that Vodafone have and the platforms that BT have, for example, Orange, really they reflect our internal operating model. So in Vodafone, with our markets, we defined a standard set of platforms that we want to adopt, but they will be different to our competitor colleagues who have a different operating model. But what we do want to have is the ability for them to interoperate. So standard open APIs, we're defining platform capabilities that can help us define what these platform scopes are, but not actually standardizing the platforms themselves. And the other concepts that we're making as part of this platform work is this notion there's not one monolithic platform. So an operator should have multiple platforms representing their internal operating model, and on every layer you introduce these TM form open APIs to define your end-to-end solution. And again, copying what these other companies like Amazon have done, is when you have an internal platform, you always make sure that the APIs are built in a way that it can be used by external companies.
Standardization of interfaces does not prevent individual providers from innovating and differentiating themselves. In fact, in many ways, it enables innovation and allows the benefits of it to be leveraged more effectively. George Glass explains.
And we have used it in a number of areas. One around systems rationalization, and it links to what Lester said, is where you treat the platform as a black box. You expose a set of business services or platform capabilities out of that black box, and then behind the scenes you give the people who are responsible for the platform the targets and the objectives to simplify and rationalize that platform behind the scenes, so that the consumer of the services doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes, and the provider of the service, the platform owner, is actually busy closing systems, simplifying the processes, standardizing the way we deliver service from BT to the consumer of the service, and that then is actually giving us a much more efficient, well-formed and predictable customer experience, because we've built it once and we're reusing it multiple times.
As we've heard, the concepts of technical platforms have been around for some time. So why is there so much interest from communication service providers today? Laurent Leboucher explains how key changes in the market coming on the horizon make this vital.
I think it is really the case if you start to think of what 5G will bring. 5G will bring a very large set of new opportunities for customers. And what is interesting is not just about bringing throughput, it's really bringing some new capabilities, but which will cope with very different use cases. If you think of healthcare, if you think of virtual reality, if you think of also gaming or smart cities, you think each time the requirements on the network are very, very different, which means that in fact moving one bit, the cost of moving one bit will be very different according to the use case. We need a very strong, very high flexibility to allow this monetization in different ways. That's why the platform is important, because we need to decouple how we produce a network and how we create the value.
The TM Forums Working Group has now published its initial study for review by the wider membership, and work is underway on the next iteration. The initial work has focused on clarifying the key elements and concepts of a platform, both from a business and a technical and architectural point of view, and starting to define the list of platform capabilities, those common services we've talked about. As Lester explained earlier, this work is tightly coupled to the TM Forum Open API programme, which provides a standardised open method of exposing those capabilities, both internally and externally. If you're a current TM Forum member and would like to get involved in this work, please get in touch either with myself, Barry Graham, or my colleague Ken Dilbeck about the upcoming workshops. If your company is not yet a member of the forum, then take a look at our website and get in touch to find out more about membership.